Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing today? I want to talk about three keys to becoming a more resilient entrepreneur. And this morning I was doing a training with the MLSP community, and I wanted to come on here to my personal page, my YouTube account, Twitter, all those places where this is being streamed, and talk a little bit about resilience. This is something that I've been really putting some focus on lately. And because, business is very important. I look at business from two aspects. You've got strategic, and then you have, mindset or philosophy or how you look at things. You really can't have one without the other. One of the things that you have to be doing on a regular basis is you have to work on the strategic side, but you've also got to be working on the mental side. You got to be working on your mindset, the way you do things, the philosophies you hold behind the things that you do. That's just as important as learning the latest strategy. And a lot of people don't really realize how important it is. And great to have you guys on here. Great to see you. And but its key is you've got to know both. You've got to be focused on both. I will tell you that if I was to do a training or a webinar of some sort, and it was going to be all about the latest and greatest, strategy, the latest and greatest lead gen strategy, the latest and greatest thing, I'd probably have a ton of people on there. But if I talked about how to have the right philosophies, how to, think the way, how to think properly so that your business, flourishes, whatever, you probably wouldn't get as many people on because the strategic part is what attracts people so much. But it's also the philosophy part, the way you think, that really determines how well the strategy works. So that's very important. So I want to share with you three keys to having resilience that I think are very important. And resilience, simply put, if you look up the definition on it, it basically means your ability to bounce back. That's really what it comes down to. What's up, Gavin? Good to see you, man. And it's your ability to bounce back. We all have disappointments. We all have times when things don't go our way. We all have times when, we wish it would have been better. It would have gone better, that it would have, we would have gotten a better result, or things didn't go exactly how we planned, or we didn't go anything like we planned. We planned it one way and it didn't go that way. And obviously when you have expectations here and the results are here, there's a huge gap of disappointment in there. And that affects people differently. I've seen people that, they have that huge disappointment and it just takes them out. It ends up taking them out. They end up not continuing on doing what they were doing because they didn't get the result that they thought they should. And it was just nothing but a big disappointment and they were off. And I'm going to tell you, life is full of disappointments. Okay. It is all about how you bounce back from those disappointments that make all the difference. We've all had things happen in life where people have wronged us, where things, that's just part of life. People have wronged us. People have done things. Things didn't go the way we thought. Disappointments are everywhere. It's all about, what are you going to do now? How are you going to get better? So resilience is about how you bounce back. So the first key that I wanted to share about resilience is what is basically self-awareness. And self-awareness is really being aware of you. Like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do your emotions work? Like, how do you react to certain situations? And knowing all of that, knowing who you are, what you are, and how it affects you is very important to resilience. Because if you can understand and that you react a certain way when something happens, now what you can do is you can crazy. I got people commenting on this, spamming it. It's crazy. But if you are aware of how you might react to something, what you can do is then when that situation comes up in the future, you can combat it. Okay. If you know that's how you're going to react and you're prepared with a solution, like if I'm going to react this way, I have already something in place that I can do to make sure that I move beyond that. So it's being self-aware. One of the things that I was sharing earlier today as well is when you're aware of your weaknesses and what your weaknesses are, one of the cool things about knowing what your weaknesses are is that that is actually a very important thing, not to focus on the weakness or where you're not strong, but to focus on it to a point where you know how to work around it. So if you know that you need to, create a header for your Facebook page, and you want it to look professional and you're not a graphic designer, that's not your strength, then you probably shouldn't be spending time trying to make your own. It's really that simple. So it comes down to, go over to Fiverr, spend 5, 10, 20 bucks or whatever, pay somebody to do it. I've often told this before, but one of the things that I did many years ago is I was working on some graphics, and I needed to remove the background from some of my photos so I could use them. So I went out and I buy this $200-$300 piece of software from Adobe, and I go in there and I'm working to remove the background on these pictures. 2.5 hours later, I was so frustrated because I couldn't get it. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I go over to Fiverr and I look, and somebody on there was like, I'll remove the background from 7 of your pictures for $5. And I'm like, I just spent, I think it was $200 or $300 on this software and wasted 2.5, 3 hours of my time when I could have just paid somebody $5 to do it. My strength is not graphics. You see what I mean? It's a silly example, but the point is, where else can you apply that? Where else can you apply it? Where else can you learn to, really combat your weaknesses and really focus in so that you can get the best result and have somebody, do it for you where you're weak. So understanding those is important. So self-awareness, being aware of your strengths, your weaknesses, your emotions, and all those things, very, very important, because it allows you to understand yourself a little better when you react to certain things. Okay. So the next one is, and I talked about this as well earlier today, but it's all about self-care as well. Now, I want to talk about self-care because I have seen this idea of self-care before being used in a way to be a very selfish person. Okay. And I've seen that before as well. Well, I'm just taking care of myself. Let me preface that by saying that we want to take care of ourselves. It's very important that we take care of ourselves, because if our goal is to serve people as entrepreneurs, and that is the goal, real entrepreneurship is serving people. It is providing solutions to people. Then one of the main things that we want to make sure that we're doing is taking care of ourselves. Because if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't effectively take care of others. And that's very important as well. So taking care of yourself, making sure you're getting good sleep, making sure, one of the things that I've been doing in the morning is meditating. It's been awesome. Just quiet time, really, just quiet time. An hour of quiet time in the morning, sometimes maybe a little longer. But I'm telling you, it's doing wonders for my productivity to be able to really hone in and focus on that. All right. So making sure that you're doing self-care, and don't use self-care as a reason to be selfish, but use self-care as a reason to be better so you can serve more. Okay. Because the true joy in life comes in service to others. That is the truth. That's what it really comes down to. And I'll tell you, the more you serve others, the greater joy it brings to your life. I've learned that. And from a business standpoint, you can have joy in serving others and also make money at the same time. That's the cool thing about it. So if you look at it and you find that balance, it's very important. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. That is crucially important, no question about it. And the last point that I want to share with you is purpose, having purpose. It's very important that you have a clear direction of your purpose. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that's bigger than you that you can, that's going to help drive you in the morning? And when you have a purpose, it's what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's what gets you out of bed and gets you motivated. It can't just be, I need to know why. It's very popular in our online world you got to know your why. But I really believe it goes a lot deeper than that. Like, you really have to have a vision of where you want to go and how you want to have a long-term impact. A lot of people's why tends to be very selfish. It's very inwardly focused when honestly it should be more outwardly focused. I believe a purpose is greater outside of ourselves. It's not all about us. It's really not. Depending upon your philosophy and what you believe, I personally believe that a real good purpose is something outside of yourself. It's not inwardly focused. It's not about how big a car can I get or how big a house, how fancy of a car can I have, how can I me? How can I do this? And I'm not saying any of that is bad. Having a fancy car is bad. I'm not saying a big house is bad. I'm just saying that if you have a purpose bigger than yourself, that's going to drive you because real joy comes from serving others. So find that purpose in the service to others. And I think you're going to find a lot more fulfillment in what you do. And it certainly makes a big difference. So these are things I wanted to come on and share. And I've got a lot of cool things brewing. And so make sure that if you are not on my email list, go over to markharbert.com. You can also look in the description of this video and you can click there and go over there and make sure you join my email list. I've got a lot of announcements coming the next couple of months, lots and lots of stuff going on in business. And you want to make sure that you're tapped into that. My email list always gets those things firsthand. So you want to make sure you join that. All right. markharbert.com. Appreciate you. Have a great day. And we'll be doing more lives. So keep your eyes open. All right. Bye-bye.